Hi, everybody. I am Susan Altman. I'm on the board of Arts Medford, which is a local organization that nurtures creativity, supports artists and the arts, and works to reflect the diverse community of Medford, Massachusetts. We make art accessible to all by removing barriers to participation and bringing programs into the community. I want to welcome you all to Arts After Dark, a series of virtual events and maybe physical later this summer, put on by MARV, the Medford Arts Resource Vehicle. As you may know, MARV is an art center on wheels, bringing supplies and inspiration to local neighborhoods in Medford and neighboring communities. We are supported in part by a grant from the Medford Arts Council, a local commission that is supported by the Massachusetts Cultural Council and the City of Medford, as well as Arts Alive Medford Foundation, the Tufts Community Grants, Massachusetts Cultural Council, and generous individuals. We also want to acknowledge that Medford is part of the traditional ancestral homeland of the Pawtucket, Wampanoag, and Massachusetts people. The Mystic River is a modified form of the Algonquin name Missatuck, meaning Great Tidal River. This acknowledgement offers recognition and respect to the original caretakers of this land and their descendants today, especially since the history of our region has largely been erased for Indigenous people for the last 400 years. I want to thank you all for coming. And now I would like to introduce a couple of the primary movers and shakers behind West Medford Open Studios. We have with us tonight Tanya Howard, Earl Howard, and David Chia, who are all on the board of West Medford Open Studios. And that has been held every year except last year for the past 21 years. This will be the 21st or 22nd time, I'm confused. It started in 2000 and is beloved by people in Medford and far beyond. It will be held on Saturday, June 26th from 11 to 6 p.m. in Duggar Park, West Medford. And everybody is invited to come. It is free. And now I will introduce whoever wishes to start.
Hi, I'm Tanya Howard, and as Susan was saying, we are officially going into our 22nd year, but because we didn't have our event last year, we're kind of calling it our 21st year for Open Studios. Up until 2019, Open Studios, it's a community arts event featuring visual artists, different types of performing artists, musicians, we have writers doing readings, we've had dance troupes, we've had marching band, high school bands, high school orchestra, I believe. So lots of different different types of dance groups. So we've incorporated many types of arts, performing arts and visual art into Open Studios. And it's always been at people's homes and studios and community buildings. We've used the Brooks School, we've used the West Medford Community Center. So up until 2019, we were, spread out throughout, just in West Medford though. But of course, last year we had to cancel the event. And so this year we're going to just be in one location at Duggar Park. And I believe we have, how many artists this year? 55 visual artists and 5 music groups and 5 writers that will be performing at different areas of the park. And we have quite an array of visual artists, potters, painters, textile artists, jewelers, woodworker. Trying to think if I'm missing any. I'm sure I'm missing
photographers
and photographers
and mosaic artists,
media, mosaic, so many. So it's going to be really interesting and fun, and we're going to be spread out throughout the park, but it'll be a really nice occasion for people to be able to walk around and enjoy each other's art, talk to the artists, and just participate in this wonderful community event. So I don't know if you want to add on to that, David?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about like the community part. Is that I think one of the really nice things we really appreciated, and I think the artists and the whole neighborhood appreciates about this event every year, is that you do actually just walk around the neighborhood. You get to, in the past years, you get to peek into people's houses. But the nice thing, and what makes this different, in case people are new to whether as an artist or as a visitor, what it's not just a museum. It is the art there, but is the artist who's standing right there for you to talk to and to exchange ideas and to ask them, where did you come up with this, or you know how did you become an artist? So it's really very interesting, and it's also it's an event for all ages, because there are a lot of different things that grown-ups can appreciate, but there's also things that students and young kids can appreciate. And so it can be a family event, and you can, as Tanya said, we have 55 visual artists, so you can go visit all of them if you want. But if you don't have time, you can just spend some time, go visit a certain number of them. And the benefit for this year is that we're all in one place, so you don't have to travel very far to and still see any combination of whatever artist you want to see. So we're trying to see what's good about it. We hope to be back in future years to the wider neighborhood event, but we want to take advantage of what life has given us in putting everyone together. And just for the artist's sake, they can sneak away from their own tent for 15 minutes or so and visit other artists. Because it's been an ongoing question we've always had from artists who are participating, and said, I love being in this event, but I don't have time to visit other artists because I have to leave my house or leave my studio. And now it's a little bit easier to just sort of walk down the aisle or walk a couple hours over, and you're not really missing. You're probably not going to miss too much if you just leave for 10 or 15 minutes. So that's another advantage. And something that Tanya mentioned, what makes West Medford Open Studios a little bit different, although other people are starting to copy us, is that we have a whole set of musicians, and they will be also at Duggar Park, literally across the street, in the backyard of the West Medford Community Center. There will be 5 different groups performing over the course of the day. And we will have 5 writers, and actually that's what I do, who will be reading their own work, and that will be taking place over the course of the day. So it's really much broader than what people think about when they think about going to an open studios, because it has so many media. And just one more thing is that we really like to think that although we don't restrict where the artists come from, where they live, or where their studio is, a majority of them are Medford people. And we really like to show off all the talents and the creativity of people in Medford. And I think people who are visiting for the first time are very pleasantly surprised that we do have all these people in Medford who are very creative, who work very hard at what they do, and do a lot of very interesting work. And let me add just one more thing, is that as Susan said at the beginning, the event is free. You come come visit. You go to as many tents as you want. But many of the artists will be selling things, and feel free to, if you see something that you like, to buy. The artist will be very appreciative of that. And for the musicians, even some of them will have CDs, just like if you go to a concert. Some of the writers on occasion have even had their own publications available for sale. No pressure. You can leave with as much money as you came with, but there's so much and there that you can't help but wanting to buy something.
Oh, that's true. I have to say, as a board member that also is always a participant, it's pretty exciting that we're going to be able to walk around and see all the art, which is something like you were just saying, like it's impossible to do when you're, and we always host artists at our house when we have open studios. So like it's, if I get to go to like a few sites during the weekend when we have it spread out, I'm lucky. So I'm pretty excited about having, it's really going to be kind of a festival atmosphere almost, you know, and having the music. And that's the other thing that we talk about sometimes in our meetings. Like we don't always get to see the performances, like all of them. We try to split up and, you know, one of us sees one performance, one of us sees another, but, you know, we'll be right there. And I think that'll be pretty, and hear the writers. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty exciting and different for this year. Do you want to have anything to add, Earl?
Well, like the first year that we've done this, I think there were 13 sites. And here we have, you know, 22 years later, we have these, where the whole event's evolving to kind of fit the times. And, you know, this whole COVID has put a damper on everything for us, but I think this is really a good solution for, you know, like what's going on, and kind of it breaking through to it being a good event that people can go out and see each other. And I think it's a perfect time. So now that we have the 55 artists and the, you know, 15 or so musicians and writers, the event has always seemed to evolve to a positive place for the artists. And, you know, we're just trying to have everybody else enjoy what the artists have made and created. And I think this will be a good event. And we didn't
Okay.
freeze.
We also have here, as Susan mentioned, Sheila Corkery, who is one of our, she's not an organizer, you know, or one of the planners, but she's just one of the artists who's been participating for a number of years. So we wanted to give her a chance to talk about her own art, but also talk about what her experience is as a participating artist.
Well, I had no idea. I've lived in Medford for, I think, 12 years now. I've been an artist a jeweler for a lot longer than that. I was delighted to find this unbelievable art community in my community. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled to find, I work out of Jerome Street Studios. It's a phenomenal spot where we house, I think, is it 4 artists, Tanya? And then Tanya as the chef in the kitchen. But I too, I'll have to say, am so excited because in all the time I've been doing it, I've never had an opportunity to go see any of the other artists. So people will come in and they'll tell me, oh my gosh, there's this fabulous glass blower that you have to check out. And this great potter down the street named Earl, you got to check out. And that is the only downside to Open Studios participating, is that I have literally not seen anyone's art except what's happening in Jerome Street, which is exciting. Yeah. But I'm thrilled, and I'm excited about the music and kind of the festival feel, like you said, Tanya. I think it's, as much as I love doing it in my studio, love welcoming people into my studio and then Jerome Street Studios as a whole, I think it's going to be just a whole different kind of level of excitement, and more like a festival, more like a party kind of. So I'm thrilled, and I'm thrilled that I'm going to be able to actually roam around a little bit and see what everybody else in this amazing community can do. But I absolutely love being part of this community. We have tremendous talent here in our city. I always want to call it a town, but it's a city. And again, like you said, we welcome a lot of other artists from other communities, which is phenomenal because I don't think, I think every community around us, I think artists in general struggle to find a place to show and to work. So it's great that we can invite anyone from any town who's interested and wants to be part of us. But it's also great that we just have this great core of Medford folks that are working so hard to keep it alive. And you guys are really the unsung heroes because it is not fun, all the hard work that you go through.
All of us, yeah.
Yes.
We are very lucky to have a great group we work very well together, I would say.
All volunteers, I might add.
Yes, all volunteers. We're all
We only
But,
fight a little bit.
I was gonna say, do you want to tell us a little bit about your work before you
Yeah.
have to go?
Yeah.
Sure. So I have been making jewelry for probably over 30 years now. My favorite thing to do is to carve things out of wax and cast them. I do not cast in my studio. It's a little too dangerous. You need quite a big torch and all kinds of equipment. I feel like I'm more a metalsmith. That's what I would call myself over a jeweler. At least that's how I started because I'm far more, I think the thing that got me into jewelry was like pitted iron and equestrian horse bits and just the functional metal, generally really old pieces that are so simple and so functional, but also so beautiful. So I actually learned how to make jewelry working in a dental lab when I was in college, which making gold teeth. So that was a very strange way to enter into my passion.
Do you have any of those for sale?
I don't, but another board member, Stephanie Todd Hunter, actually, I had a wax class a few years back, and she actually used her son's wisdom tooth and carved an identical tooth out of wax, and I cast it for her and she wears it around her neck. So it can be done.
Right.
If someone wants a tooth, we can deliver that. Anyway, I don't really know what else to say. I've been doing it a very long time.
What sort of things are you going to have for sale?
Oh, excellent. I will run the gamut: earrings, bracelets, necklaces, rings. I'm going to try to, like, I think we all strive, the artists that are involved strive to have things that are affordable. So probably there'll be things that start at like $20 and then sky's the limit. I do a lot of gold work, but I probably won't bring that with me. But anyway, so I will have a ridiculous amount of jewelry out there on display. And I'm excited to see what other people are going to have on display. So I think
Can I show?
Yes.
Can I show something that you made?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you wearing your necklace?
I'm not wearing it, but I'm going to hold it up.
Ooh.
If we can.
it's
Oh, I have to be
really
like.
out of
in
Yeah,
the-
Susan, put it in front of, like, in front of
gosh.
your person.
gorgeous. That's so pretty.
Put your hand behind it.
There we go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
right
there you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I carved all the silver out of wax, and those are stones that Susan had in jewelry that she wasn't wearing. And so we repurposed them into something she would wear, which is actually something I do a lot. And I have so much fun turning things that people no longer want to wear into things that they don't ever want to take off.
And it was such a nice process because it was so, Sheila was so open to any idea, and it was very much a conversation. It wasn't like oh, well, I think you should do this. It was, well, we could do this, and that kind of stone would be good for this kind of thing. And maybe that's like the center one is a sapphire that was in my mom's engagement ring. So let me get this back.
Pretty.
So the big one.
Mhm.
But the other two stones Sheila supplied. And so
That's
we
right.
went, we went around about like which stones. She had a whole bunch, and which stones would work the best with it. And did I like the best, and what color combination and what positioning. And it was longer than I expected. I sort of thought I'd go in and half an hour later she'd say, okay, fine, I'll have something for you in a month. But no, it was a series of conversations, and it was a really nice process, and I love it. So
Beautiful.
It's really fun to work with people doing that, because you kind of you want to get a feel for what they like, what styles they like, what colors they like, and you never, honestly, when I head into something like that, I never quite know. I don't think the wearer knows either, like what we're going to come out with, what we're going to brainstorm and come up with. And it's really fun it's like a kind of a puzzle. You're trying to figure out enough about the person to sort of get a good idea of what would ultimately be really special for them. So it's fun. So Tanya, you not to change the subject, but your cooking, I know you're doing a lot of phenomenal Zoom menus online.
Instagram live.
But you can't really do any food stuff at the moment, right? Because of,
No.
I mean, not in
True.
person.
Yeah. That actually, the downfall, I guess, of having it at, in the park setting is, and probably, coming off of COVID, is not really being able to do the demos, like that artist demonstration and my own cooking demonstration has been a really interesting part of Open Studios as well. And, I feel like in the last few years, we've really grown in terms of how many people are willing to do a short demonstration of their art or their work. And I always do at least one per day on the Open Studios weekend. So of course I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah. But
they are big crowd
think,
pleasers.
my solution to this, because through the pandemic, I've been doing Instagram lives pretty regularly, especially recently. So I think the week before Open Studios, I'm going to do kind of my special WMOS demo. I'll label it special.
Oh.
I'll promote it that way on Instagram Live. And
That's
then, in terms of what I'm doing I'm going to be helping Earl sell pottery through the day. And I'll just have kind of brochure material to talk about my classes and Zoom classes and things that I'm doing. So, yeah.
Great.
You got to adapt.
Soon they'll be like free.
Yeah.
At some point. Yes. We're getting there.
I'm still excited how this is going to be different. So I'm okay.
And it's probably pushed you to do those Instagram lives, which is great, because they're.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, doing the live WMOS demos really helps me to adapt into like the pandemic Instagram live demos, because I was already a little comfortable. Like the technology part was what I had to adapt to more, and I was doing Zoom cooking classes a lot. I have been. So yeah, so it's been good.
It's great.
It's a new skill that you've learned because of the pandemic, which is fantastic. Yeah.
I did a little embroidery, Instagram Live, all different things. Oh, my glasses.
Embroidery? I didn't know about that skill.
Like a little bit. It was like right before all the stores shut down. I ran out to Playtime, the art store, and got some embroidery, thread, and watched some YouTube videos and started embroidering little flowers on actually.
I think I see it.
Yeah. Here, it's that was like the first one I did. It's not that great, but on like t-shirts and jeans, I'm just like, I have a whole bunch of things with like little flowers. So.
I've wanted to make jewelry with embroidery on it, like figure out a way to make it in wax and put all the holes in there so that I can have, I don't know, like a little super basic like flower shape or something like that. But I should probably watch some YouTube videos.
Yeah, YouTube.
Every time I get to the stitching part, I'm like, wait a second, I'm totally out of my depth here.
Yeah, you just go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm confused, Sheila. Are you trying to do like something that looks like embroidery or is cast from embroidery or actual embroidery?
No, so no, it would be, imagine like those starter kits that you get for embroidery or any of those like carpet kits that you maybe get for kids with the big plastic grid sort of
Oh,
thing.
I used to do those. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thought was to make a, like, let's say a wide ring, a nice thick, wide, basic band that maybe is like 3/4 of an inch tall, high all the way around, and making kind of like a wavy sort of line with maybe just like not as fancy as your flower there, Tanya, but like just a little,
Not that fancy.
very almost like a line drawing, and do it with either silk or, well, this is going down a rabbit hole. I found you can get Gore-Tex thread, which is basically indestructible, and it comes in a lot of different colors.
Gore-Tex.
Yeah,
What
so that it
chemical?
could be totally indestructible, basically. But
You stitch it
tried-
with like gold or gold thread
Ooh.
or silver thread. Just draw it out so it's thin enough so you can weave it.
oh, that, you know what, that would be, I'm looking for more, I want the color. So I want the contrast against the silver or the gold, like a nice vibrant color. So I want the color of the thread, and I want it to be more thread-like. So I feel like if I did it with thin wire, it would look more like a mesh or a meal as opposed to actual stitches. So I want it to look like stitches, and I want the color to be very vivid and pop from the surface.
Well, we're here
That
for
is a
you.
cool idea.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, there's been many fails, many epic fails in this arena, because then I have to figure out where to put all the holes. It just gets to be like
Yeah.
over my head immediately. But anyway, we've taken a tangent. I apologize.
A very cool idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
sounds awesome.
I'll keep you posted. We'll see.
So any last things that people really need to know about West Medford Open Studios this year that we haven't said?
The rain date.
Oh, yes. Do we have one?
Yes, the very next day.
Right, yes. If the weather is really bad, then we will just postpone it to Sunday, the following day. And just so the general thing, getting back to, the times, which are getting better, but not quite there yet. As we've been planning, we have been planning to have a very safe setting. We will encourage people to wear masks. We will have hand sanitizer everywhere around. If someone requests a mask, they don't have one, but they want them, we will have masks available. The tent, each artist will be under a tent, and each tent actually has a lot of space between tents, and we will have 15-foot wide walkways where we will have the visitors walking up and down to visit each tent. So we're very aware of, even if things are getting better, and cross our fingers they will continue to get better, and even if the city and state allows us to be more relaxed, we were planning for a more safe environment, and we're going to continue to do that. So I hope that people feel safe when they come and don't feel like, oh, there'll be all these other people around, so I don't want to go because it'll be too crowded. We've sort of planned to have plenty of room for artists as well as visitors to come and visit us.
Also, the road will be blocked off to traffic. That section of Mystic River Road, is that still Mystic River Road?
Correct.
Yeah. So where the park starts, where like Duggar Park basketball courts are, and then down one block to Fairfield. So that'll be shut off to traffic. So that's like another walking area. That'll be adjacent to where the musicians will be performing behind West Medford Open Studios. So there'll be plenty of space for people to stand behind there and listen to the music. The writers will be reading on the basketball court.
Yes, and so one of the basketball courts, so the bleachers to one of the courts will be will be where the people who want to listen to the readings will be able to sit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've definitely put a lot of thought into how to make it a safe event and how to make it so people are comfortable, the artists and visitors and performers. So I feel really good about it. I don't know. I think everyone in our group does.
And we hope that this is sort of almost like a coming out party for everyone who's been, even if they're going outside now, they haven't been to sort of social events outside.
Yeah.
And we hope that this is an opportunity for people to sort of break loose and come and do something, with friends, friends that they've known for a while, as well as make some new friends. Because that's also part we love about Open Studios, is just to bump into a lot of people that you may not have seen for a while, and that certainly might be true in this instance.
Will definitely be true.
And I'll say, I don't know about all the open studios around, but this year, this might be one of the only ones that you could kayak or paddleboard to, because it's right along the Mystic. And I walk there like I'm out walking on the path like 4 or 5 times a week, and the new amount of kayak and paddleboard boarders I see, especially this year, is so interesting. So many more people, using the path and using the river. So you could definitely, pull out your little kayak and, find the place where you can pull into and tie it off and come visit Open Studio.
And there's a new event I think it's called the Mystic River Sounds.
Sounds on the Mystic.
Sounds on the Mystic. So you can bring your, obviously your phone, and I guess there's a barcode or some kind of code that you
QR
put on
code.
your phone, and then you get to listen to, as you walk up the river, you can listen to different sounds and different, I guess.
And actually one of the organizers of that is Gary Roberts,
Right.
Who's a West Medford resident and former Arts Council chair, and also former, he took the year off this year from Open Studios, but he's also been a reader for several years. So yes, I think one of the sites is right by where we're going to be.
Yeah, yes. Actually, right where the basketball courts are, like, because I've listened to it a couple of times, there's music starts there, and if you're walking up towards Arlington, you'll hear music. But if you cross the street, Harvard Ave, and walk that way, Terry Carter, who's one of our readers this year, actually has, he's actually reading something that he's written about West Medford. It's really interesting. So that's another thing to do. And I will say that, like Arts Medford, we're funded also by the Medford Cultural Council and the Massachusetts Cultural Council and Tufts Community.
Funds, I think.
And so we have some wonderful sponsors this year as well. Friends, many friends.
Even Encore Casino.
Oh, that's right, Encore Casino. We got a grant from.
We're gonna go double or nothing on the art.
So, we have some wonderful sponsors as well. So yeah, we hope everyone comes out and enjoys the day. We hope for nice weather for sure.
Yes.
Cross fingers. That's the only thing we can't really.
Right. We are under the tent.
Yes. Everything you can control, you have controlled. Yeah. But not that. Yeah. Well, whether or not it showers a little bit, it'll be a great event, and everybody's looking forward to it. I think everybody here is participating in one way or another. And we're all very excited to be doing it, especially after missing it last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and thank you for all the work that you put into making this happen every year. And we know it takes way longer than a day to make it happen. So
Oh, that is true.
thank you.
Way longer.
way longer.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
We
thank
appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for coming.